Hey everybody, this is TJR. This afternoon I was at my day job and my good friend Robert Kinsler, whom I've made lots of videos with on this channel, texted me basically saying as if 2020 wasn't bad enough. And then he gave me the news that Eddie Van Halen had passed away. One more reason to dislike 2020. I remember back in the late 70s when Van Halen 1 first came out, I was at a local record store and I was just browsing through albums and I heard the song Show Your Love. Sorry, it took a moment for the song to pop into my head. I heard the song Show Your Love and just this balls to the walls, totally nutso aggressive guitar and song and just an explosive song. And then all of a sudden the song just comes to this full stop, just bam, like that. And then all of a sudden, ba-ba-da, shooby-doo-wah, ba-da-bum, ba-ba-da, shooby-dooby-dooby-doo-wah, ba-ba-da. And I remember just being struck by that. I'm sitting in the record store listening through albums, and that happens, and I'm just like, who is this? Because I hadn't heard Van Halen yet. This is the first time first time I can remember hearing them. And I'm like, what the F is this? It was almost as radical as when I first heard Night at the Opera by Queen. And they're coming out of they're coming out of that guitar solo, and then suddenly they go into the opera. It was almost as nutso as that. And I think I walked up to the record counter. I said, "Who's that?" And they said, "It's Van Halen." Not too long after that, in my high school newspaper, a fellow student wrote a review of the first album. And you got to remember, this was all new back then. And most of us had no clue about Van Halen's local history in Pasadena as, this killer party, cover band. Most of us didn't know anything about that. We're just kids in high school. And he wrote this review about the album. And I remember he said, the one thing about this that sticks out the most to me, he said made the biggest impression, was the guitarist. And he said, I think I've just listened to probably the next Jimi Hendrix, is how he described him. I think I'm listening to the next Jimi Hendrix. I think this is the next guitar innovator. And he was right. He was dead on right with that. And I remember playing Van Halen 1 just over and over again. Just the riffs were just so killer, and just the guitar, his sound was so completely different. And like Jimi Hendrix, it was as if Eddie was playing from another universe, his guitar sound. I mean, there's so many great guitarists out there, and I love them all. But every once in a decade, we get those innovators like Hendrix and Eddie, where they totally change how we think about the guitar, how guitarists like myself think about the guitar, and it totally changes how we all look at it and how we all play it. Yeah. And then it's funny because just last night, I was working on my follow-up video to the video I did the other week about the Rolling Stone top 500 albums of all time, and my comments on the top 50. And I was actually mentioning Van Halen in that video yesterday as I was filming it. I was just talking about how I had said that walking into that list blind, I said I'd be surprised if I knew even half the albums, because Rolling Stone as a magazine traditionally in my lifetime has not liked all the same things I've liked, or they don't like the same things I like as much. And I said, for instance, Rolling Stone doesn't like Van Halen nearly as much as I do. And as I filmed that little segment last night, I remember thinking to myself, it's funny, as big of an influence as Eddie Van Halen has been in my life, because, and let me backtrack here, and I'm sorry, I'm really rambling here, but I've often mentioned that Elton John was the reason I took up piano. But I haven't had a chance to mention that Eddie Van Halen was the reason I took up guitar. And so it's surprising to me that don't think I've talked about Van Halen very much on this channel. I don't think I have. In fact, I think the only video I've done, oddly enough, I did a video where I did like a track-by-track analysis of Van Halen 3, which is the album everybody hates. And I did that because I thought it would be interesting to examine the album that everybody dislikes versus the album that everybody likes. And one thing I said in that video that I will never back away from, even though it's not a very good album, there are a couple good tracks. And one of them is that opening instrumental. I think it's called Brave New World. I'm not going to stop and look it up. I think it's called Brave New World. And it's this beautiful instrumental piece from Eddie. And I remember when I first listened to that album and I heard that instrumental, I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Unfortunately, the rest of the album didn't live up to that introduction. But that instrumental I've always thought to myself, my God, Eddie really needs to do an instrumental album and just go anywhere he wants with it. Just do whatever he wants. And I'm really sorry he never made that album. I've loved all his work with Van Halen. I have all the Roth era albums. I have all the Hagar era albums, with the exception of one. And of course, I even have the Van Halen 3, the Gary Cherone fronted album, even though nobody likes it, but it does have a couple good tracks on it. And whenever Eddie did like an instrumental, it was always like really unique. There's that one keyboard influenced instrumental off of Fair Warning. I think it's called Saturday Afternoons in the Park in 1960 something. Once again, I'm not going to go look it up, and I'm sorry, my head is just a mess right now from this news. Now that I'm letting it sink in, I heard about this at work, and then I had to get back to work. And I've just kind of had to put it out of my head until I could have a chance to sit down and really start to process the whole thing. Eddie's, of course, his battle with cancer has been ongoing for some time now, and it's always kind of loomed in the background of both Eddie Van Halen and the band. And over the last several months, there's been a lot of rumor that things weren't looking good. And of course, those are just rumors, but I guess those rumors were true. But anyways, though, whenever Eddie did like an instrumental, it was always this really special thing. And I always wished he'd done an album of just instrumental music. And I'm sorry now, we won't ever get that album. But yeah, my God, a real innovator. And I'm just, I don't know what to say anymore at this point. I think I'm just rambling. I'm not even sure I should post this. My partner said to me, I said, I don't know what I'm going to say about this. And she said, well, you know what his music meant to you. Just say what his music meant to you. And he was one of my primary influences as a guitarist and as a musician. And he also played keyboards too. And that's something he and I had in common. Although I can't play guitar anywhere near close to what he can do. He's light years ahead of me. But yeah, God, just loved his playing. I kind of was thinking the other day about the song Ain't Talking About Love. It's 2 chords. It's 2 effing chords. And he put so much variation and texture into how he played those 2 chords so that it never stopped being interesting. I often have thought that I should have done a video about that, and maybe I still will, just examining Ain't Talking About Love and just the many different variations he put into two chords that kept that song alive and exciting. Anyways, though, it sucks. 2020 just really sucks. And this is one more reason. I've had a lot of other reasons why it sucks too. I'm not going to get into all that here, all that personal stuff. But share your thoughts, please. Share your comments and favorite Van Halen songs, favorite tracks, favorite guitar solos. I don't know what else to say, really. And it's a shame. I've lost one of my guitar heroes and one of my music heroes. Take care, everybody. I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.